So we're just going to start in a comfortable seat. If you want to kind of wriggle a little back and forth, draw your bottom out behind you a little bit so that you're tilted a little bit more forward on your sit bones rather than dumping into your tailbone. And then just place your hands comfortably on your legs or lap. And take a moment here just to feel the earth beneath you. Really, it's the mat beneath you, right? If you want to sit on something, if this isn't a comfortable position for you, feel free to sit on a block or a pillow as well. And then notice how long your spine can become. And begin to notice how long your breath can become. So if it's possible just to breathe in and out through the nose throughout our whole practice, I'm going to invite you to do that. There's a lot of benefits to nose breathing. I'm not going to get into them now. So just feeling that rooting of the sit bones, the rising up of the crown of the head, the top of the head, and the flow of the breath, right? And notice if you can, if the breath sort of catches anywhere or is short, and see if you can just smooth it out and make it really long. And you may notice that on the inhale, there's almost a little bit more lift. And on the exhale, keeping the lift, there's a little bit more softness. So maybe the shoulders drop a little bit more and you ground into the earth a little bit more. And we're just going to take about 3 more breaths here, long and smooth, just to help you tune into your body. Right? The breath sort of becomes a link between the mind and the body. So your awareness is right here, internally focused. And thoughts will still disturb you, right? That's the nature of the mind. And just come back to the breath when you notice that happening without any effort or struggle. You're welcome to open your eyes if they were closed, or you can keep them closed. And let's just loop the shoulders a couple times in big circles up the front, over the top, and down the back. I don't know about you guys, but for me, my neck gets a little stiff and tight, so those are really nice. And then let your shoulders drop quite heavy. Let your elbows be sort of heavy, and pull the belly button in for just a little support. And then we're going to lift the arms up. Take a breath here, lift the back ribs. Palms face each other, shoulders width apart. Front bottom ribs, these ones down here at the bottom, just draw them toward the back ribs a little bit so you feel the core turn on. Yeah. And then as the sit bones root, the fingertips lift maybe a micro inch higher on your inhale. You're going to fold forward as you exhale. So just take the hands to the floor first. Pause, maybe fingertips are down. Pull the front ribs now forward on your inhale. Let your collarbones widen. And then feel free to round in if you like. As you exhale, you can drop your head. You can drop the elbows. You can crawl the hands farther forward or farther backward. It's not about how far or deep you can get into these shapes, right? It's about what are you noticing along the way? Is there some spaciousness in the low back here? Can both sit bones still press against the floor? And then just start to crawl your hands back toward your legs to lift yourself up. And you'll notice that one ankle is probably in front of the other. So now we're just going to uncross and recross the other way, which often feels kind of funky. Right? We tend to favor one side, right? So just take a moment to feel that for a moment. See if both sit bones can press down. You might feel a little uneven. That's okay. On your inhale, lift your hands, palms face each other, shoulders distance apart. As you exhale, those front bottom ribs hug back toward the back ribs. And so you feel the core turn on a little bit. And then one more inhale, lift through the back ribs a little more, fingertips up, back of the neck long. And we're going to fold on the exhale. Hands come down and we're going to pause. Maybe you're on the fingertips. As you inhale, front ribs now pull gently forward as the shoulders soften down so the collarbones widen. Yeah. And then we'll drop in. You can round if you like. Let your head fall. See if both sit bones compress. You might notice on this side, because it's the more awkward side, one sort of floats off the floor a little more. And see if you can just anchor it down. Feel the flow of your breath. Good, and then we'll start to crawl the hands back toward the legs and come back up. And then we'll just loop the shoulders a couple of times again. Maybe roll your head around as well. So nice, you guys. So we're going to come to hands and knees. So if you want, you can just rock forward on the knees, hands to the floor, uncross ankles, or shimmy over to the side, getting there any way you like. So I need to turn around. All right, so if you need to glance at the screen because you're not clear on what I'm saying, no worries, right? But let's just see if we can sort of look inward instead for how things feel and just listen. Maybe you won't have to glance at the screen too much. So we're going to take the left toes to the back of the mat, so that left leg is now long. I just kind of like to rock the heel back and forth. Feels good on the foot for me. If you want to do that, do that. And then you're going to pull the belly up toward the spine, and you're just going to hover the right knee, the one on the floor, off the floor for just a moment. I want you to just feel your arms strong, the back of the neck long, that left leg strong, the straight one. Good, and then set the right knee right back down beneath the hip and lift the left foot off the floor, but not so much that you sway the back. It's not about lifting it high. You want to keep the belly pulling in and reach the inner heel back, and then root into your left hand. So the same hand as the lifted leg, and then the right hand comes forward, thumb up, like you're going to shake someone's hand. But you're not looking at them, you're looking straight down at your mat. And then you're pressing the floor a little with the left hand. You're reaching the lifted foot and lifted hand away from one another, right? And the neck is soft and the breath is smooth and even. And just notice what muscles are sort of turning on and waking up here. And then one more inhale when you're ready. You might lift a little higher now. And hand and knee back to the floor as you exhale. Okay, we're going to do it all on the other side. So right toes to the back of the mat. Make that leg as long as comfortable. Rock the heel forward and back if that's nice for you. Sort of waking up the calf and the hamstring and the foot. And then you're going to press into the ball of that foot, right? That's with the toes tucked under. You're going to press the hands against the floor, pull the belly in, and hover the bent knee off the floor. And see if the breath can stay long and smooth as you do this. And if not, guess what? Drop the knee back down and then play with lifting it. So let the breath guide you. Long, smooth breaths throughout the whole practice. Good. And now we can take the knee back down right beneath the hip. We'll lift the right foot up. Let the inner thigh roll up, right? So you're reaching the heel back. Press into the right hand. Left hand comes forward, thumb up. So the tendency is for this right shoulder to kind of hike up to the ear, for me anyway. So draw that right shoulder down. Pull the belly button in, right? So those front ribs, they're not just kind of hanging out. They're moving a little toward the back ribs, and the lifted limbs are lengthening apart, and that breath, smooth and even. I'd rather you back off of a shape to continue long, smooth breathing than to hold the breath because the shape is too strenuous, right? So one more inhale here, reaching, maybe lifting a little, hand and knee to the floor, exhale. And then we'll just cat-cow it out, like I like to say. So belly drops, heart comes forward, maybe the gaze comes forward. That's your inhale. A little sway back. Rounding, and as you exhale, belly pulls up, shoulder blades separate, head hangs heavy. And then again, inhale, shoulders loop back. Gaze can come forward, relax the forehead. And rounding in, feel how nice it feels to get some space there in the low back and the middle back. And then we'll come back to a flat back and neutral spine. Good. We'll curl both toes under now. We're going to hover both knees off the floor and just pause. So we're going to make our way to downward dog in just a moment. Feel first the arms strengthen, the belly hug in, the knees are just hovering. When you're ready, start to straighten your two legs, a little or a lot. Pull your hips back to downward dog. Let your head hang and then press the floor away from you with your hands. So if you want to wiggle the hips or the head or pedal out the knees, go for it, right? This is your body. And it might be the first time you're in this shape today, so we don't want to jam into it or force anything. Imagine you could sort of let it come to you, right? So you're just going incrementally, a little deeper if the breath allows, if your body wants that. There's no need to force anything. In fact, that's usually not a healthy way Not a healthy way to have a relationship with anyone, including the relationship you have with your body. Let's lift the heels, come onto the balls of the toes, pull the hips back, bending the knees, take an inhale, and then we'll walk to the front of the yoga mat on the exhale. Take as many steps as you need. Lifting the heart, inhale, find a nice long spine, shoulders loop back, and just fold forward as you exhale. Let your hands hang, let your head hang. You can pedal out the knees, bending them or straightening them as much as you need. Now we're going to bend both knees. Here's the fun part. We're going to pull the belly in. And if you can, let your arms just float up. If you need to, you're going to take your hands to your thigh bones here to prop yourself up, but you're in the chair pose. So let's just play a little in chair, right? Because it's such a fun pose. So you want the weight to shift back over the heels. You can lift all 10 toes. And then feel for lifting the back ribs as your fingers reach up. And those front bottom ribs, that sort of shelf, hug them toward your back ribs so you have some core engagement, right? The neck is free. You're as low as you like or as high as you like. There's no right or wrong. Breath is flowing. So you manage it by listening to your breath and listening to your body. They're so wise. And let's just play a little here by taking the right toes to the floor and lifting the right heel. And then setting the right heel down. Left toes on the floor, lift the left heel. Set the left heel down, and now we're going to lift both heels, but one at a time. So I'm going to start right heel, left heel, on the tippy toes, fingers lifting, front ribs hugging back, hips dipping, try to say that 3 times. Drop in, reach up, and now we're going to rise to standing on our tippy toes. Reach up, wah! Make it fun, reach, heels high, fingers high, try to touch the sky, take a big inhale. And heels to the mat, hands to your heart. All right, maybe that was fun, maybe that was no fun. We all have judgments, but we're just playing, right? It's just an exploration. So we can start to play with like where our boundaries are, where our edges are, and we learn to honor ourselves and not teeter over that edge. Okay. So we're gonna stand tall at the top of our mats, hands to your heart. You can close your eyes. Feel your breath. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel the top of the head rising and start to smooth out your breath again. That rising and lifting of the inhale. The softening of the exhale. And hug your belly button in a little bit and reach your arms up, back ribs lift. Inhale. We're going to fold on the exhale. Drop your head, bend the knees if you need to. We're going to just take a big step back with the left foot here. So I like to wiggle my right foot over to the right a bit so that the feet are at least hips width apart for stability. Now I'm going to give you an option. You're going to hug that right hip back and lift the heart forward so fingertips can stay on the floor. Back knee's going to bend a little or all the way down to the mat. Totally optional, you guys. We're going to float our arms forward if you want a deeper challenge. You're going to float your arms back if that feels nice to open across your heart. And in a moment, we're going to rise all the way up to the crescent pose. So the back knee's on the floor, hands are forward or back. Maybe they're still on the floor. And on your inhale, hands lift up to lift you up. So the breath helps to lift you. Same thing, back knee can be down, little bent, or lifted, even straight if that feels good for your low back. And I want you to sink a little into the hips and lift your fingertips. And can you again feel for lifting the back ribs a little bit more and hugging those front ribs back. So we're just playing with that today so that we have core support and spaciousness in our low back throughout the whole practice. So you're as low as you like. That front leg is kind of in chair, right? And then you're going to just drop your hands back, spin the palms up and out, and let your shoulders roll back, let your heart lift. So now let those front ribs fly up with abandon. Make it feel nice. You can still hug the belly button in to support your low back. You can bend into the back knee a little more if it wasn't on the floor. And then both hands lift up on an inhale. Reach, reach, reach. Hands to the floor. Exhale. We're going to step back to plank pose. Take a breath in. And now we're going to lower to the mat. Knees can drop first and then chest. Once you get to your belly, come to your cobra. Lift your heart, inhaling. Downward facing dog, exhale. Take a few deep, sweet, healing breaths. So it's fun, I think, to challenge ourselves a little bit in the practice as long as the challenge is manageable. As long as we can stay tender and compassionate with ourselves and forgiving. And we can make the challenges deep or soft as we like. So we're going to lift the heels here, bend the knees, look forward and inhale. And again, walk forward as you exhale. Heart lifts on your inhale, flat back. Fold forward as you exhale, drop your head. We're going to play with the chair pose again, a little faster now. Hips dip, knees bend, hands lift. Inhale. Maybe both heels lift off the floor onto the tippy toes. Exhale, sink a little low, reach a little high. And then inhale all the way up to standing. Whoa, on your tippy toes. Put a smile on your face because it's hard and you're challenging yourself. One more breath in, reach, reach, reach. Heels to the mat, hands to the heart. Don't worry, we won't do those again today. You can loop the shoulders back, hands to the heart, close your eyes for a moment, feel your body in space, stand tall. Notice how those long, smooth breaths calm you down, bring you right back here. So good. Belly hugs in, arms lift, inhale, and fold forward, exhale. All right. Bending the left knee now, we'll step the right foot all the way back and just wiggle that left foot over so you're not on a tightrope, the feet are hips distance apart. The left knee bends, the left hip hugs back, and you can lengthen the crown of the head and the heart forward. So fingertips might be on the floor, back knee might be on the floor, or a little soft. Arms can float back, palms face down, so the collarbones widen. Arms can reach forward, palms up, so you're really challenging yourself a little more. Maybe hands stay on the floor. Again, back knee is lifted or not, totally optional. Doesn't have to be the same thing you did on the first side. All right, on your next inhale, arms sweep up to lift you. Crescent pose. So feel what's going on in that back knee. Maybe it's down. Maybe you're getting a little stretch on the top of the thigh. With it bent, I like to start with it bent even if you're going to straighten it if it's lifted. So the belly can hug in and the tail can lengthen down and you're not jamming into your low back at all. And you just determine how low you want to sink down, how high you can reach up. Back ribs lifting, front ribs hugging back. Can you feel the core muscles turn on? And then let your arms drop, palms forward or up. Optional to bend the elbows and take that cactus shape. Sometimes that's a nicer heart opener, whatever feels appropriate for you. Heavy shoulders, heavy elbows. If the hands are down, heavy hands, soft hands. Play with how low you want to sink into your legs. And then on your next inhale, reach up, whether the back knee's down or lifted, and hands to the floor. Exhale. We'll step back again. Inhale, plank pose. We'll lower on the exhale, knees down or not. Cobra, nice and easy. Inhale. Downward dog. Exhale. And a few breaths, just to tune in, to settle down. So nice. So let's separate the feet at least hips distance apart here in downward dog. I'm just going to play a little bit more. So heels are going to lift off the floor. And then we're just going to swivel both heels over to the right. So you're going to be on the outer right foot, inner left foot, but play with flattening the feet down just like that, like you're on a balance beam. And then the hips lift up and back. The hands press equally. You can wiggle the head to make sure the neck isn't holding any tension here. And then we'll come back onto the tippy toes. Inhale, heels real high. And heels to the other side as you exhale. And just noticing how it feels. So the hips are pulling away from the hands. Both sides of the waist are staying long. The head is hanging. The breath is flowing. So good. And then back up onto the tippy toes. Heels lifted. Take an inhale. Bend the knees as you exhale. Look forward. And walk to the front of the mat. Good. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold, fold, fold. Bending the knees again for chair pose. Inhale, just reach up. We won't come onto the tippy toes this time as promised. Standing on your exhale, hands to the heart. But hey, if you wanted to, you could always play some more. All right, so we'll play with a little balance here at the top of the mat. It's only a 45-minute class. And we're already halfway there. So find your feet. Where are my feet? Find your feet. Root into your feet. Feel your feet is what I mean to say. Feel your feet pressing, your head lifting, the breath flowing, right? Thankfully, the feet know where they are, even if you don't. So we're going to shift the weight into the right foot, and we're going to just lift the left knee. So take your hands to your hips, unless for a moment you want to just give that knee a little hug and find a little more length from standing foot to head. That feels nice for me. So hands to your hips when you're ready, and we'll straighten the left leg. So the left foot reaches forward. And notice how hard that is. It's not easy. The tendency is to lean back to get the foot higher. Can you instead keep that line of energy from standing heel to head? Pull the belly in, send the tailbone down. Maybe float the arms up and lift the back ribs. Maybe hug the front ribs back, back, back. And then one more inhale here. Bend the lifted knee as you exhale. That helps to release your back. And then you're just going to shift forward. Now, hands can come back to your hips. Left foot can reach back. Front standing leg can bend a little. Totally fine. And you're just going to come into this flat back with a long left leg. So it doesn't matter if the standing leg is bent, but can you lengthen the lifted leg? So if you have your hands on your hips, can you roll the right hip back and the left hip down? Optional to open your arms to the sides, or to reach forward if you want to make it more challenging. Relax your face, deepen your breath. Good, one more inhale, bend the standing leg. And then left toes to the back of your mat as you exhale. Reach the arms up on your inhale, you're back to the crescent pose. All right, we're going to change it up a little bit here though. We're going to take the hands to the hips and just pause so you can take that back foot flat on the floor. And when we say flat, we want the toes pointing to the top left corner of your mat. So you're in sort of a warrior one pose. Right hip hugs back, heart lifts. Now optional here, you can just draw the elbow tips back, let the front ribs fly up, or just going to turn around to show you guys. So you're either with the elbow tips back, or you can hug opposite elbows, or you can take your knuckles behind you. If you have a lot of mobility, you can let your hands come together in prayer behind your back and roll the shoulders back. So make a choice that your shoulders aren't rolling forward with, but the shoulders roll back. So for me, I hug opposite elbows. I like this shape. Feet hips width apart, back foot flat and anchoring you. So that back foot's really hugging the floor. Front knee can be straight or bent, totally optional here. I want you to lift the heart, let the front ribs lift. You can look up as you inhale. We're going to come halfway down on the exhale into a flat back, into just a flat back. So the gaze is straight down at that right big toe, yeah? The back foot's pressing back. The front bent hip is hugging back. Play with straightening the right front leg if you want to, if that feels okay. Roll the shoulders back. Breathe. Yeah. And then whatever clasp or positioning you have with your arms, now let the hands come together, interlacing fingers or hooking thumbs, and we're just going to fold over that front leg. I like a little bend here in my front knee to release the hamstring. You can lift the hands, you can drop the head and wiggle it around. That back foot is still anchoring you, keeping you balanced. So good, you guys. Let your hands come to the floor. Bend that front knee, obviously. Lift the back heel, and we're just going to step forward this time. All right, heart lifts. Inhale, flat back. Fold forward, exhale. Drop your head, bend your knees, back to the chair. Inhale, sink and reach. Press to standing as you exhale, hands to your heart. All right, we just have the second side to go, and then we're going to start to wind down a little bit. So find your breath, find your rooting of your feet, the rising of the spine and head, that flow of breath. Notice how the breath brings your mind right back into your body. All right, we're going to shift the weight into the left foot now. On an exhale, lift the right knee. Again, if you want to give it a little squeeze and find that length from the standing heel to the head, that nice plumb line there, go for it. And then hands can come to your hips for a moment, and right leg can straighten. Can you spread through the right toes? It helps. And the more you press the standing foot down, the easier it is to rebound the head up, right? And you might notice that right foot dropping, and that's okay. It's not about how high you lift it. It's about what's happening. What's happening in your mind? Are you being kind to yourself? You can lift your arms. Try not to lean back. Pull the front ribs in as you lift through the back ribs and fingertips. And we'll just take one more breath here. Bend the lifted knee as you exhale. And that'll release your back. Good. So you can take your hands to your hips here and start to shift the heart forward as you extend the right foot back. Whoa, the toes are going to point down. The inner thigh is going to roll up. That left hip, hug it back. The right hip, roll it down, right? And then optional, arms out to the sides. Maybe your hands stay on your hips, elbow tips back. Whoa, maybe the hands come forward. So I'm having some balance issues here on this left side, but you know what? Who cares? It's all good as long as I'm breathing and being kind to myself. This is just one practice, one day. Never about perfecting any of this stuff. That's why they call it a practice. It's not called a perfect. Take one more inhale, bend that standing leg. Right toes come all the way back toward crescent as you exhale, and then arms float up. Inhale, you're in crescent pose. All right, we're just going to pivot that back heel flat, right? Toes point to the top right corner of your mat. You can wiggle the left foot over to the left a little if you have balance issues like I do here. And then hands come to the hips if you like, elbow tips back. Front knee is straight or bent. We're going to play with that. Elbow tips draw back, hug opposite elbows. If you like, rolling the shoulders back, knuckles come together, or hands swim up between the blades. And let your heart open, let your gaze lift, drop the shoulders, make it feel good. That back foot's rooting you. Take a nice deep breath. Coming to the flat back as you exhale, shift forward. Shift forward. Yeah. So the back of the neck is long. You're just looking straight down at the mat. Hug that left hip back. Front knee can be a little bent or straight. Play with it. Back foot presses against the floor to support you. You can pull the belly in here. Let the collarbones widen. You can smile. And then whatever grip you've taken with your hands, now let the fingers come together. You can interlace one finger over from what you did before, and we'll fold. We're going to drop the head here. Front leg is bent or straight, whatever you need. Hands can lift, head can hang. Make sure the breath is flowing, that right foot's pressing. You're just playing, you're just exploring. All right, we're going to release the hands to the floor. And we're going to step back this time to plank pose. Okay. Hold your plank for a couple breaths. Because this is another crowd pleaser. Everybody loves plank pose. You can play with floating the right foot off the floor if you like. Roll the ankle around from that standing work. Set it down. You can float the left foot up, roll around the ankle, and set it down. All right, take an inhale. We're going to lower to our bellies on the exhale, maybe knees first, and then chest. Pointing your toes, roll the shoulders back. Last cobra pose. Inhale. And last downward dog. Exhale. Make it feel good. Heels dipping, they don't have to touch. Hips lifting, breath flowing, face muscles relaxing. And notice here in your downward dog, if your front ribs are just sort of hanging, and can you pull those bottom front ribs toward the back ribs? And just notice how that changes the sensations in your low back, maybe even in your hips a little bit. Right? So we want to engage our core muscles. Nice big inhale. We'll take the knees to the mat on the exhale. All right, you guys. Knees are going to come forward. We're going to come onto our backs. We're going to do a little core work and then all sweet sailing from there. So lay back and relax. I like to draw my knees into my chest when I get on my back. I find that's a nice low back opener. Maybe a little side to side rock. Okay. And now we're just going to take both feet on the floor for a moment with the knees bent, feet hips distance apart, right? And if you need to kind of lift your hips and scooch them forward toward your feet, that might feel nice so your low back broadens. And then if it's available to you, you're going to reach your arms overhead, like we've been playing with today, right? And when you reach your arms overhead, I want you to feel, if you can, the low back a little longer, and the belly, those front ribs are going to hug toward the back ribs. Again, even here lying down. So you just feel the earth helping to support this engagement and this structure. Left foot stays on the floor. We're going to bend the right knee to the chest. And we're going to lift the right foot up to the ceiling and play with straightening it. Spread your toes. Pause here for just a moment. And then listen up. The belly still hugs in. The front ribs hug toward the floor. And as you inhale, this straight right leg lowers a little or a lot. And as you exhale, you're going to lift it back up. We're going to do it a few more times. Inhale, lower it just to your degree where you don't lose the connection of those front ribs hugging in. Exhale, lift it. If you want to take a hand there, you can. Inhale, lower the leg as much as you want. Exhale, lift it. So using the low belly muscles to lift the foot back up. We'll just do it one more time. Inhale to lower it, smooth and steady, mindful movements. Exhale, lift that leg. Pause here, take your hands behind the right leg, and just draw it toward you. So you get a nice little hamstring stretch. Again, if you want to roll the foot, roll the foot. If you want to wiggle the head, wiggle the head. Play with how straight or bent you want that right knee to be. All right, pull the right knee back to the chest and then set the right foot on the floor. We're going to do this it all on the other side. Arms reach back. And you might notice those front ribs poof up. You're going to hug those front ribs toward the back ribs. Keeping the neck relaxed the whole time. Right foot presses against the floor, left knee pulls to the chest. Good. And then left foot lifts up to the ceiling. Spread the toes, flex the foot. Can you activate that leg like you're hugging the leg muscles onto the bone? And that right foot, the one on the floor, is kind of anchoring you here, yeah? So the front ribs hug down, and as you inhale, that straight-ish left leg lowers, a little or a lot. Exhale, lift it back up. Inhale to lower it as much as you want. Exhale to lift it, hugging the front ribs in, hugging the belly down. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Be really aware that you're not using your neck muscles or face muscles. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. So mindful. Last time. Inhale, lower it. Exhale, lift it. So good. Take your hands behind that right leg. Draw it toward you as much as you like to release the hamstring. Again, you can roll the ankle. You can roll the head. All right. Left knee bends into the chest and both feet now on the floor. Feet hips width apart. We're going to come to bridge pose, open it all up. So start to lift your hips up toward the ceiling. See if the throat can free up so your chin's not tucked in here. You might wiggle your shoulder blades together and interlace your hands beneath you if that feels good. Or arms can just spin open, palms open rather. You can even reach your arms back if that feels nice. So finding your place today. All right, just today, one practice. And notice if you're rocking onto the heels a little bit more than the balls of the feet, and see if you can press the feet evenly against the floor. And just now let the whole torso really receive the breath. And release the breath. There should be lots of spaciousness there. Lots of freedom there. Nice sweet breath in. Let yourself soften as you exhale and start to separate your shoulder blades if you had the hands beneath you and start to roll your spine down vertebra by vertebra. Yeah, good. And when the spine settles down on the floor, take a moment just to feel that alignment again. And then we're just going to wiggle the feet apart and let the knees touch together. You can open your arms out into a cactus shape here, or straight arms, palms up, and let both knees drift over to the left as your gaze comes to the right. But you can close your eyes. And you want to feel a little sweet release and stretch on the top of that right hip, maybe thigh. If you're not feeling enough, you can place your outer left foot on your outer right leg, if that makes sense. Long, smooth breaths where we're winding down now. If you have the foot on the leg, go ahead and take it off. Pull the belly in as you exhale to lift the knees back up to center. And let them touch, feet wide, knees touch. And when you're ready, let both knees drift over to the right. You can turn the gaze to the left. But if that's not comfortable for your neck, then turn the gaze whichever way it's most comfortable and close your eyes. Tune in. What are you feeling? What are you noticing? Often when we are stationary in a pose, we really notice all the activity in the mind. So just notice it, right? Acknowledge it, and then come back to your breath. So you use the breath to come back to the body. When we're connected to the breath and the body, we get out of our thinking mind, even if just for a few moments, and that is something pretty precious. The foot can be on the leg or not. When you're ready, take it off. Pull the belly in to bring the knees back up to center. And when the knees come to center, wiggle the feet together and let your knees drop apart. So we're just finding all these different areas that we can release and let go of. Your arms can be out wide, your arms can reach back, or you can take a hand onto your heart and a hand onto your belly so that you can feel the movement of breath within you. And sometimes if the mind is very active and we place the hands on the belly and let the breath move into the belly, then we make a deeper connection to the breath because we're more aware of the sensations of it. So if it helps you to put your hands there, then please do. Allowing the belly to rise up to receive the breath and to gently drop back as the breath empties, but you're not forcing it in any way. The next time that you exhale, you're going to empty the breath completely, pull the navel toward the earth, and take the knees up together. So we're encouraging the belly to work the legs a little bit more than our hip flexors. So good, you guys. Let's take the knees to the chest here. Maybe a little side-to-side rock. Maybe if you like a happy baby, you take a happy baby shape. Back of the neck long, feet. Our hands are on the edges of the feet. You can rock your little baby. If you're in the happy baby shape and you want to get a little inner thigh release, you can let the feet go out really wide. I like to support the outer legs with my hands. Some people take the hands to the inner legs. Some people have long enough arms that they can hold the edges of the feet. So let's just get a little inner thigh release, back of the neck long, neck and shoulders and face relaxed. And on your exhale, belly pulls in, feet come together to the ceiling, and the knees back to your chest. All right, let's take the knees in a little circle. One direction, other direction, low back massage, yes. And then when you come to center, try to give your knees a kiss, give yourself a hug, take a big breath in, hold it, appreciate yourself, squeeze every muscle you can think of, and then let it all go and come into Shavasana. Short, sweet practice, plenty of challenges, plenty of activity. Give yourself time here and now. This is really the most important part of your practice, you guys. Just to integrate it all, to absorb all that work that you did. Some of it's quite subtle. Get comfortable. Get relaxed, soften your eye muscles, your jaw muscles, your hands and your feet. Feel the earth beneath you supporting you. And when we have that support, it's so much easier to trust and let go. So now, as if you could, let go of your body. And as if you could, let go of your breath. Any alteration or movement of the body and breath. And just know that they'll take care of themselves as they do all the time without you having to manipulate them in any way. Trust that your body knows just how to breathe for you because it does. See if you can just notice it. Notice how soft the body can become when you allow it to, and how soft the breath can become when you allow it to. And that's all you're doing here. You're just noticing the softness of your body and your breath. You may also notice the softness of your mind, but you may not. Your mind might still be very active. That's okay. Just notice that too without judging it. And if your mind starts to take you to a place that's not serving you right now, just notice and acknowledge that without judging it, and return your awareness to the softness of your body and the softness of your breath. That's all. So simple. Just remembering that when you come back to your body and your breath, you get out of your thinking mind. So even if it's just for a momentary slice of time. You're still practicing and progressing. There is no perfecting. So as you lie here relaxed, I'm going to invite you to stay here as long as you like. If you feel ready to move on, since it is 45 minutes now, to honor your time, if you want to just sweep your arms back and take a nice little stretch, and take a big breath in. When you let go of your breath, feel yourself relax. You can bend your two knees, taking your feet onto the floor, and you can rock over to one side and just pause there for a moment. You're not in a rush. When you feel ready, that top hand can press you up back to a comfortable seat. But again, you're welcome to stay on your back.